there's a hidden belief that the truth is an acquisition. Not, of course, not a thing, but some sort of acquisition of some sacred or special knowledge. So, in other words, enlightened people know something that I don't know. No matter how many times you tell somebody that that's not what it's all about, there's really no other option that the mind has but then to keep believing that that someone that's happy, someone that seems to be free, someone that doesn't seem to be, limited to this endless turmoil of self, must know something. Must know something that I don't know. And actually the funny thing is it's the opposite that's the case. I used to know lots of things too. I remember what it was like. I mean, the first thing that I knew was that I didn't know. That's where usually when we're spiritual seekers, that's where we start off, is the one thing that I know for sure is that I don't know. See, so that's where I started off, is I don't know. But that's a form of knowing. It means I know something, and I'm really sure of what I know. So most people know who the good people are, who the bad people are. Most people know who the worthy people are and who the non-worthy people are. Most people know who's doing the right thing and who's doing the wrong thing. Most people know which side of the political spectrum is the right side and which side is the wrong side. We could go on and on almost endlessly, huh? I mean, we run around saying, I don't know what I really want to know. That's what we do. That's the spiritual person's trip. We run around saying, I don't know what I really want to know, and so I'm seeking it. I'm trying to find out. We read books after books after books on top of more books, on top of more books, and even when the books say there's nothing to know, we say, someone who knows that must really know something special. And so we keep looking and looking and looking and looking for somebody knows. Or then we hear Ramana say, find out who you are, and then we think, Ramana knows who he is. He must know. I mean, he's asking everybody else to know. So we think our own liberation, our own freedom is a matter of some missing piece of knowledge. Some missing piece of knowledge that's going to take all the insecurity away. But of course, everything that we think we know, everything we think we know, is simply a product of our own conditioning. Whatever we know, it's just our own conditioning. It's nothing more than our conditioning. So whatever you were taught was right and wrong, that's what you know. That's what you know right and wrong to be. You go to another culture, they have a whole different idea of what's right and wrong. You go over to the tribal headhunters, and to lop somebody's head off isn't really a bad thing. You come over to our culture, you lop someone's head off, and not, right? It's a whole different ballgame, right? Now, who's right? And where did we learn which one's right? See, so we just have our concepts that we're taught of what's right and wrong, and what we know and what we don't know. And we'll believe anything that holds out hope that we'll get the secret. You notice? I mean, we'll just buy anything. To be enlightened, you've got to stop your mind, right? And then you go, oh, okay, I'll do that. But of course the truth is most people have no idea if stopping their mind is going to help them towards enlightenment. They just take it on as a new piece of conditioning. Now I know what I got to do. I got to stop my mind. right? When it's very possible that stopping your mind might have absolutely zero to do with spirituality. But you don't know. And on it goes. In fact, if you look at anything and you ask yourself, what can I know for absolutely certain? What you find out is that you can't know anything for absolutely certain. In fact, it's impossible to know anything for absolutely certain. I won't go into why, I'll let you figure that out, but it's actually pretty simple. It's a pretty simple equation of why it's totally impossible to know anything for certain. You can only know something with a greater or lesser degree of certainty, but you can't know anything with absolute certainty. So again, we think that the really awake people know something that we don't know. And we think that if someone says everything is one, that somebody has got to that conclusion that everything is one because they know something. In other words, they know everything is one. So they think it's a matter of finding out that, say, that's true, that everything is one. That if I come to know that for myself, then I'll be really in a whole lot better shape off than I am now. As if it was an addition. But actually, it's just the opposite. When you know that you don't know anything, and you know that you can't know anything, there's only one thing left. So you don't get to oneness by means of addition, or by means of merging things together into one thing. You come to know oneness because you start to realize that you don't know anything. And it's a very confusing thing to hear, isn't that? Like, are you totally confused right now? So when we take spiritual inquiry, we think we're going to get to an answer. I imagine most of the people who have ever asked themselves, who am I, thinks that they're going to get to an answer. And then they can write a book about it. And they can say, I realized who I am, and here's what I found. Or you can sit around thinking to yourself, oh, I'm really glad to know who I am, and let me see, this is who I am. And it's really a fun thing to know. Right? But it's a paradox, because when we know who we are, we finally achieve that truth, that state of absolutely not knowing anything about ourselves. We finally achieve that state, which is always the truth in the very beginning, of absolutely not knowing who or what we are. Because one cannot know who they are. It's impossible to know who you are or what you are. You can't know it. It's impossible. You can only be who you are, knowingly.